Sheikh Abdullah Odoro, Imam Wesley LeBron, Imam Tom Fakeen there, subhanAllah. Everybody here has converted to Islam or reverted, whichever way they look at it, at some point. What was that first Ramadan like? Ups and downs, experiences that you found great, other things that you may want to see change, something that the community can do different. I'll jump in at the end, but let one of you esteemed brothers start.
Alhamdulillah, bismillah, wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah. So for me, my first Ramadan, alhamdulillah, during my first Ramadan, I can say I think I had just accepted Islam not too long before Ramadan. So I think like maybe 2 months later, maybe 3 months later, Ramadan was coming in. I didn't know what Ramadan actually was, that we would pray extra like during this time of Ramadan. I knew we had a fast, but I didn't know that there was extra prayers. And I found myself in the masjid praying Salatul Isha. And after the Imam gave the salams and the taslims, and I made my dhikr, and I was ready to get up and leave, he gets back up again, and I see everybody line back up again, and he says Allahu Akbar, and he gets back into it again. And I'm like, okay, Allahu Akbar, I get back into it. Now we're like 4 rak'ahs in, 5 rak'ahs in, my feet, my knees are shaking, and I'm like, man, what's going on here? Why does he continue to pray? And subhanAllah, I remember I thought I would be punished if I would get out the salat line. So I got tears running down my eyes, not because I was righteous, but because I was tired and my knees was hurting. So I started asking, like, yeah, Allah, allow him to stop praying already, please. And subhanAllah, as soon as he said, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, I got up and I just shout out the masjid, because I was like, I don't know how long you're gonna keep praying, but subhanAllah. Right? And then after that, I kind of, went back to the local imam where I was going to the masjid and kind of asked him, like, yo, what's going on? What happens, during this time at night? You gotta be praying like 5-6 times, subhanAllah. And then he explained to me that there are extra prayers, qiyamul layl, tarawih, and the likes, inshallah ta'ala, alhamdulillah. But that was like my first Ramadan experience, man, subhanAllah. And besides that was just like the eating. I remember I was still living at home by my dad, but then I remember, man, like 3 days in, I'm sitting in the kitchen, it's like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm staring at the cookie jar. And I'm like, man, bro, I'm hungry. And Bismillah.
Bismillah, you put a Bismillah on it too. He said Bismillah.
I went in and I just started digging in, man, subhanallah rabbil azeem. Alhamdulillah, and then just found out that, I could make up the day later on. Alhamdulillah, that I had to kind of take it easy on myself and kind of build up. Yeah, as I was mentioning about myself. So alhamdulillah, I accepted Islam in New York, right, on the street corner. We didn't get the 5 pillars of Islam and the 6 pillars of Iman. I got Bilal Phillips' Kitab al-Tawheed. That's what they sent me home with, alhamdulillah, in the Quran. I read the Quran, alhamdulillah, I read Kitab al-Tawheed. I believed in Allah, alhamdulillah. I didn't know Muhammad. I said, I'll figure that out later, inshallah ta'ala. The brother was like, you ready to take shahada? I was like, yeah, I'm ready to take shahada. Just don't tell me what to do, when to do it, how to do it. I'm good. Alhamdulillah, I became Muslim. And we would go back and forth to him in the city like every week and a half, 2 weeks, to kind of just get a little bit from him. But he came home from prison. To be, fair to the brother, he didn't really learn much in prison either and stuff like that, and he wasn't a murabbi like that. And then the masjid back then was an Arab masjid, Palestinian masjid that we walked into. Arabic was the first language. Khutbah was subhanAllah in Arabic. The durus after Isha was in Arabic and stuff like that. So really, we was just coming in, making the salat, hit it and quit it. We know we got to come and pray. We come and pray, and alhamdulillah, and just kind of roll out. So we didn't really have that interaction of really learning like the pillars and all of those things in those initial phases.
Yeah, man, my first Ramadan was also less than 2 months after taking Shahada. So I still wasn't even praying 5 times a day. I didn't even really know we had to do that. Like, I knew that prayer was a part of Islam, but I didn't understand that we here in America had to pray 5 times a day. And Ramadan, my first Ramadan was sun up to sundown, which I think is a huge issue that has to be addressed. It's in most of the literature up until today. You see a lot of the literature says Muslims fast from sunup to sundown. So my fast did not start at Fajr. My fast started
at sunup.
Right. Which I mean, as we know, was inshallah, we get diplomatic immunity as new converts. But the idea was that my first Ramadan was totally messed up.
I'm trying to remember my first year. I remember, I think it was at a masjid. I mean, obviously in Houston, from Houston, Texas. It was a small storefront masjid. The imam was Libyan. and he was the head of the math department in Houston Community College. But I remember that masjid was Arab and African. It was out of particularly North Africans. I had this burning desire to want to understand what he was reciting. I mean, I just wanted to know what he was reciting, because he was rough, mashallah, tabarakallah. He didn't take any. We loved his khutbahs because he would lay the law down in his khutbahs, right? He didn't care. I remember one time he was talking about qazar, like where you have hair and no hair, you know what I'm saying? He's like, and qazar is haram and it's ugly. It is ugly. He's saying this on the minbar. We're like, yeah, we want some more of that, right? So we used to go to his masjid, and he would recite very, like, his voice was very, very, like, loud, but it was very full, you know. And I just remember, what I can remember vividly is two things I remember vividly is me praying behind him and not understanding the majority of what he's saying. And I said, man, I really want to understand what he's saying. And then secondly, me leaving Tarawih and going home to a non-Muslim empty home. You know, just like, it was on, then it was off. It was just literally, okay, I'm amongst the Muslim community. I go home, there's nothing. It's Ramadan.
Yeah, mashallah, a lot of very similar elements. I was trying to piece together what exactly was like my first Ramadan, because I moved around quite a bit around the time when I accepted Islam. But my first Ramadan, it was the opposite of your situation, where I knew about fasting, and I fasted the whole month of Ramadan before I took Shahada. I didn't know I had to take Shahada. I considered myself a Muslim, you know, like I prayed and I fasted. I'm a Muslim. Like, what else do I have to do? I lived in rural Wisconsin for like 10 months. I was working in a Mexican restaurant in the kitchen. That was my first Ramadan. So 10-hour shifts back there in the heat, around food all day. I was probably too shy to pray at work. I think I was doing the thing where you make all your prayers up after work at home. And I had no control over my living situation at the time. I was with, there was a dog in the house and stuff like that. So that like unplug thing is like a very, very familiar.
As we all know, brothers and sisters in Islam, Ramadan can be quite tough as a revert. As time goes, it will get easier, inshallah. How was your experience of your first Ramadan? If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for daily videos on this channel. Thanks for watching.